Let's go live. Come on, YouTube. Fucking YouTube. Let's do this shit. Let me loose. Let me loose, YouTube. Come on, let's go live. What the fuck are you doing? Come on, I've got to be live now, right? I've got to be live. It says I'm live. Fucking YouTube. Let's do this shit. Let me. Right, I have to be. Right, let me ask. Let me ask chat one sec. Am I live? Headroom's ready. I'm ready. Bitcoin's doing whatever the fuck Bitcoin's doing, but what? Surely I'm live. I have to be. I'm live. Figured it out. It only took about 10 minutes. Jesus. Hope everyone's alright. I'm alright, even though the world's fucking ending. So I was sitting here just bored, watching the prices go down. Everyone's losing money today. And I thought, fuck it. Let's just all watch it together. We're all depressed. We're all watching our money fucking disappear. Bitcoin is down 28% today alone. Today. I mean, talk about store of value. Bitcoin is literally dying right now. This is kind of history. And we get to witness it. That's good. Alright, well, we figured the stream out at least. I'm just going to kind of keep it loose. I'm not going to try and dress it up or anything. I'm just literally sitting there watching the charts. So, you want to sit there, watch it. I've got some mango machine. It's got all the vitamins in it. Because I read today that if you have vitamin C, you're less likely to get the coronavirus. So I picked up this mango machine thing. So if this saves me, I'm going to fucking thank someone. But yeah, man, the charts are crazy today. Everywhere you look. Everywhere. I mean, you look on the side over here. Everything's in the red today. I mean, look. 25%, 23%, 31%. 21%, 32%, like everything is getting crushed today. And in the some of the chats, I've been reading some of the stuff in Quant, in the Quantfy Lounge, and people are losing their minds, and rightly so. But everyone's like, oh, why is Quant going down? Or why is Ocean going down? It's like, mate, everything's going down. Everything. I mean, you look across the board, you look at crypto, I mean, look at Bitcoin, look at stock market, look at commodities. I mean, everything is getting crushed right now. Am I in cash? I'm not in cash. And you know what? I fucking wish I was. And everyone saw this coming. I mean, not this. This is just ridiculous. But everyone kind of saw that this kind of recession was coming. But you at least thought Bitcoin was going to do its job. You at least thought, well, Bitcoin's digital gold. It's a store of value. But look at this, man. I mean, 25. Has there ever been a 25% candle in one day on Bitcoin? Because this is ridiculous, man. This might be the biggest. It might be. There was a 34% candle here. I mean, the top's got to be a pretty bad one, right? Wow, 42%. Yeah, okay. So this is not the biggest candle. But it's a pretty big one. There's a big boy down here. Woo! Okay, well, I was well off. That's a 44% candle. Look at this guy. Jesus, man. 55 in one day. Oh, that's a week. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Okay, so we might be in business here. I mean, some of these candles are real meaty. I mean, look at this guy. So that's a 28% candle right there. Got 28% here. This guy is a 27%. So whatever way you look at it, this is one of the worst single days. Look at it. This is one of the single worst days in Bitcoin's history. I mean, it's just not only fallen out this wedge, it's just dived out. Like, dived. And we're below 6k. I mean, man, I can't believe how bad this is performing right now. Like, holy shit. This is bad. If you need me to adjust my volume or something, please tell me, because I don't know how loud it is. Let me try it. Someone's telling me my Telegram sound is still on. Shouldn't be. Ah, okay. Let me mute that. Right. That should be a bit better. I don't know who's selling right now, to be honest. If it's just a bunch of whales, if it's just everyone. I mean, everyone's capitulating across the board. I love how people still have hope. Still 12 hours for the daily to close, so we can still wick. I mean, we can wick, but we've still fallen out the wedge. I mean, there's no way in hell we're going to make this back up. Imagine we did, though. I mean, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it? Everyone's just lost hope, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bitcoin just survives. Okay, well, it was someone. A very good person, but it was someone. So yeah, tell me if the stream's a bit crazy. Tell me if my volume, or if you're hearing weird shit. But man, I mean, let's just go around. Let's just have a little look around the markets at the moment. I mean, Celsius was already rolling over, but I mean, today that's another bad candle. It kind of bounced a lot though. That's a big bounce in Celsius. Ethereum, I mean, woo! Jesus, Ethereum. Holy hell. I mean, that's just awful. That's just absolutely awful. And I'm laughing because what else can you do? Like, what else can you do? You can't sit there and be depressed. Everyone's losing money. Unless you're in cash. Whoever went to cash, fair play to you, sir. Or lady. Fair play. Because in a recession, cash is king. But let's go through a couple of these. So Ethereum had this crazy pump. And this is just something that I do. I'm not saying everyone should do this. This is just something I do. When stuff starts to go parabolic, I like to just redraw the trend lines. To give you a better perspective as when the parabolic trend is ending. And we're going to start retesting the lower trend lines. So I mean, Ethereum kind of did that. Broke this trend line. Started to recover on this one. Broke through. Recovered on this trend line. And then, I mean, I don't know what the hell happened here. But, I mean, are we coming all the way back down to this trend line now? Are we coming all the way back down to the hundreds? Let's have a look at Chainlink. I mean, Chainlink's just been doing unreal though, isn't it? But today, 24% on Chainlink. Oof. I mean, Ocean has been doing amazing lately, really. But even Ocean couldn't stand it. 34%. My God. And I know a lot of people in Ocean. And they've been very happy lately. Like, very happy. But they can't be happy today. That's a lot of gains wiped right there. I mean, that's from 670 sats to 450. Man. Quant, look, I defend Quant all the time, okay? Quant's my baby, Quant's my guy, I defend it, you all know that, but you can't defend this. You can't defend this. It broke. I couldn't really decide what trend line to draw here. I kind of didn't know whether to go with the more touches or just go with the absolute low. But, I mean, it broke for both, so it don't really matter. But Quant just dived down today. I mean, that's nearly a 20. It was a 20% candle. Wow. I mean, that's just some crazy stuff right there. And it's kind of bounced really well, actually, to be fair. I mean, it did alright. Yeah, it kind of bounced well. I mean, it was more of a market buy, really. I mean, look, 26 ETH. Someone was watching this dip. Someone was watching it, and they went in heavy. To be fair, out of all of them, Quant's performing not the worst, basically. I mean, Perlin, man, Perlin. So I'm not in all these coins, by the way. I don't really talk about what coins I am invested in because I like to keep that a bit private. Some people know, but not everyone. And these are just projects I like. I mean, a lot of people know that about me on my Telegram, which I'm going to plug, Dreadbongo, at Dreadbongo. So I talk about a lot of projects on my Twitter, and they're just projects I like. Whether I like the teams, whether I like the technology, whether I just like the vision. There's a lot of projects I like to follow, and these are just some of them. So I'm not in all of these, but I do like to keep an eye on them because I do like to look for entries. And I mean, today, there's a lot of opportunities to look for entries. And I guess it really depends on just how bad is all this going to get. Like, really, how bad is this going to get? Because, I mean, we can see the stock market. Look at the stock market. And, I mean, we're going to look at today. I mean, Trump with the travel ban from Europe. So the US suspends travel from Europe. But apart from the UK, which I didn't really understand. And we have a Cobra meeting today. So there's a lot of bad news that is yet to be priced in. UK shields its economy from the virus, but not yet its people. Depends. I mean, the UK could come out today and say, we're shutting down all schools. Everyone's got to work from home. And then, I mean, the FTSE is just going to drop. And then we've got Trump banning everyone from America. Actually, I have a little conspiracy theory, and maybe I shouldn't even say this on camera because maybe it will stick. But I have a conspiracy theory that this... Right, because don't you think it's just a little bit strange that America has kind of... If you think we're going into trade talks with China, right? China got it by far the worst. And then America going at Iran. And there's all this back and forth. And all of a sudden now Iran is just like being devastated as well. So wouldn't it be something if Trump planned this? If Trump was just like, you know what? Let's drop this little virus and see what happens. I mean, I know it's crazy. There's probably a lot of bullshit, but he'd still survive it. He wouldn't get impeached. That guy is untouchable, man. And I kind of respect him for it. He's like, to me, he's just funny. I don't have to deal with him because I'm not American. But that guy can get away with anything. Honestly, I think that guy could get on and be like, yeah, I released that virus. He wouldn't get impeached. BTC will need to bleed to death for blockchain-based projects to rise. I don't know, man. Bitcoin's king. That is a good point, and that's where my theory falls down because I don't think the US have any heat with Italy, so maybe not. But yeah, chemical warfare. You never know. Look, okay, you can't say that these guys, these politicians, and all these guys wouldn't do it. Okay, there's a lot to gain for them, but yeah. That would be a hell of a thing if that ever came out. It's the whole did Bush do 9/11? It's that whole conspiracy theory, and I do love a conspiracy theory. Absolutely love it. Let's go through the a bit more of the charts. So Theta was a project that I not recently, I'd say maybe a couple of weeks ago, I did do a trade on. And I managed to get out in profit, not by much. It was only around 6 to 10%. I think it was more like 6-7%. But because they just announced, they announced on a live stream that Samsung were one of their validator nodes, and everyone was waiting for this big press release from Samsung. Never really came, and since then, I mean, you can kind of see with these huge rises. I mean, we had this huge rise all the way up to nearly 1800. But since then, I mean, everyone across the board, you can just see so many projects right now just absolutely getting ruined. And I'm waiting for the stock market to open. I'm waiting because I think it'll be a bad day today, and I know a lot of people aren't. What time does the US stock market open? Oh, I've now got to figure that out. I should do a countdown clock. What? How many hours is that? I can't be asked to work this out. Oh, I've already got it. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, 1.5 hours. We've only got 1.5 hours. So, okay. Around 1:30 UK time. And I think today's going to be a bad one. I really do. I think the S&P and I think the DJI. I'm not hopeful, put it that way. So look guys, if you got anything you want to talk about, just put it in the chat because I'm just chilling out. I've got nothing to do. It's been started by the NHS to get rid of all the LOD people who cost them so much money. Permissionless blockchains are not the focus of institutions. That's why the likes of JPM are coming out with their own blockchain projects. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, it's not a secret. Everyone knows that a lot of these projects, they're not going to get adopted. And that's why I put a video out yesterday, and it was kind of just a video to bring some attention to the fact that, look, this could get much worse. And if this does get much worse, if all this sell-offs and across all the markets, if this gets much worse, is your project going to survive? If this really does turn from a recession into a depression, does your project survive? Because it's an important question. I mean, you could have the best project, but you don't know. Are they in a position to take advantage of this situation? I mean, in my opinion, you look at Quant and their whole thesis is to re-architect the financial system. Now, you either try and worm your way in, or you have a technology that's so good they can't refuse it, or you knock the fucking wall down. And at the moment, the wall's come crumbling down on its own. So maybe they can just step in. I'm hopeful on Quant. I am. I'm still hopeful. And I know price sucks. And it has sucked for a long time. But I don't think that has much to do with the project itself. I don't think that has much to do with the technology or the project itself. I think that has more to do with the communication and the marketing around the community, around the crypto side of things. And I think they know that. I think the team know Do you think BETC and hopefully Quant will follow gold once people exit their traditional portfolio into hedges? So there has been there's a guy called Cassian Franks. He is the CEO of VectorSpace, and that's another project I think will take advantage of this sort of situation. But he is the CEO of VectorSpace AI, and he has a theory that he was calling this a long time ago, like 6 months ago, so fair play to him. But he was calling for this recession, and he was calling for this huge sell-off. And his theory was that a lot of money is going to exit the markets. Equities, maybe not so much commodities, but crypto. A lot of money is just going to exit the market. Everyone's going to get scared. It's going to be a lot of fear. A lot of people are going to go to cash. And after, a lot of that money is going to want to re-enter the markets. But his theory was that money is not going to re-enter equities and such. It's going to re-enter crypto. So, if you think along those lines, and a lot of money has been extracted, in the traditional markets, that money has to go back somewhere. And if crypto looks more appealing, why not? Why not? But, I mean, then you look at Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin's not doing its job. It's not doing its job. If you think of Bitcoin as a store of value, and it was supposed to be digital gold, it's not doing its job, is it? Because this is just awful. At 25% of the day, if you really, store of value, you want to keep your value, you can't rely on that. You just can't. Especially when the world's going to shit. That's somewhere you're supposed to put your money in that you feel safe. So I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question. It's a hard question to answer. But yeah, like Hans says, and there's blood in the streets, all that. If Bitcoin follows gold, what happens to all the utility tokens as they all have a business behind them that will be affected by the recession? It's another good question. I don't know. That is my answer to that question. I don't know. This is unprecedented. I mean, this is unprecedented. And then there's a fantastic podcast with, what was his name? Rael, I forgot his name. It was on the Pomp podcast, Off the Chain. Let's try and find it. Here we go. Rael Powell, CEO of Real Vision Group. And this podcast was very, very good. It's a good, nearly 2 hours long. But they kind of just outline everything, this whole situation. And he called the oil crash 4 days before it happened, which was really interesting. But this guy was incredibly intelligent when it comes to all this. And he knew exactly what he was talking about. And one sec. And he was saying just how unprecedented this was. He was saying how we were already heading towards a recession. And I kind of echoed this in my video I did yesterday, but he was saying we're already heading towards a recession. Everyone knew it. But with the coronavirus and how just insane the news has been around it, how countries are shutting their borders, they're completely shutting down, economies are coming to a standstill. The coronavirus has now turned this into a whole different beast. We're no longer looking at a recession. We could well be looking at a depression because the same sort of thing happened back in 1930 or whenever it was. So this is unprecedented. So when we talk about, our utility tokens, are they going to be affected by this? We literally just don't know. We have no idea. We're entering a brand new world right now. But never have they had a brand new financial system that they can move to. There's never been this opportunity for them. If you're talking about this traditional system and how broken it is and how it's been propped up for years with stock buybacks, etc., There's a brand new financial system now that's emerging, and it's there. It's there to be used. Maybe they flourish. Maybe they flourish. This mango machine drink is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of those really healthy, where it's got all the vitamins in it, and it's banging. So the Plus token dump on Bitcoin, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with that whole situation. I know they had a shitload of Bitcoin, but I read somewhere that they were dumping it. Is that right? Maybe someone could tell us in the chat. But I read that is that the situation? Maybe we can just look it up. I mean, we've got nothing to do, have we? But someone will probably know more on that situation than me. Okay, well, let's go the last couple days. Last week. Plus token scam dumps another 13,000 bit. Whoa, okay. Okay. So is this the cause of what's happening right now? I didn't even realise that. That is terrifying. $180 million of Bitcoin stolen. They stole that much. How are these guys not? Man, I didn't know this. Plus token continues to dump its stolen Bitcoin on the market. The move was correlated with the recent price drop, which means the scam may have exacerbated Bitcoin's losses yesterday. So, okay, so they could be the cause of today's dump, really. On average, the Plus token scam has been selling off 1,300 Bitcoin daily. This weekend, however, some 13,000 Bitcoin was moved to be sold off. The owner of this scam's wallet did the same thing when Bitcoin crossed $10,000 earlier this year, as Kevin Svensson noted. Wow. Okay. I didn't know about this story. I'll be totally honest with you. I heard of Plus token, and I heard that they were dumping tokens, but I didn't know that they were stolen. Plus token scam moved on over 13,000 Bitcoins yesterday, worth $180 million. They also did something similar after BTC crossed above 10,000 this year. They are slamming the market with sell orders. Essentially, we have a giant wow unloading after every move up. Wow. Okay. Well, they couldn't have picked the worst time to do it. I mean, for them, maybe it's the best time. Maybe they just panicked. They see what's happening across all the markets at the moment, and they just need to get rid of them. Bam. And you cause this shit. So do people have the wallet? Or are they moved all around the place? Can we see how much they got left? Effectively, the scammers can dump their Bitcoin in the spot market and open a short 100x position. This way, they can effectively never lose. At the time of publishing, their massive wallet of 800,000 Ethereum has been static, but could soon wreak havoc on them. Jesus, they have 800,000 Ethereum. Whew. Man, it pays to be, honestly, man, it pays to be an arsehole. You can scam people, you make so much money in this market. Good guys come last. Although the ongoing oil dispute is undoubtedly the main catalyst for Bitcoin's drop, it is possible that today's losses have been exacerbated by Plus tokens dumping its Bitcoin. There are also other factors like depressed global demand, more generally, blah, blah, blah. However, if you're wondering why Bitcoin is performing so poorly as a hedge nowadays, the answer may be that it is being manipulated by scammers. Bitcoin cannot be a hedge if every opportunity it stays green is relentlessly exploited by selling off massive stockpiles of stolen Bitcoin. It's a good point. It's a good point. Most of the money that had left traditional markets are controlled by boomers. The millennials have a couple of cycles before they have accumulated enough wealth to use Bitcoin as a store of wealth. So this is another thing that Rail Powell, this is another thing that he said about equities. And the problem with equities, and you look at the last, God knows however, I mean, that's a hell of a fucking bull market, isn't it? But he had the theory that equities, the biggest buyer of equities are the companies themselves, are the corporations themselves. With stock buybacks, they are allowed to just buy back huge amounts of their own stock, which obviously drives the price up. But the problem is, when you enter a recession, your cash flow goes negative. So if you can't buy back your tokens, you can't buy back your tokens and your price of your stock doesn't go up anymore. And he noted that not only were they the biggest buyer of equities, they were pretty much the only buyer of equities. I mean, everyone else is kind of insequential, it doesn't really matter, but they were like the only buyers of equities. So when the recession hits and their cash flows go negative, they can't buy back their stocks. The biggest buyer of equities completely leaves the pie. They just leave. So what happens to the stocks? What happens at that point? Well, no one's buying them. Everyone's selling. No one's buying. So this is why we have these huge candles in the traditionals. And this is only going to get worse as time goes on. I still can't believe that about this Plus token thing. That's kind of crazy. So I wonder when they started selling. Like recently. I mean, they're obviously playing the charts, right? I mean, look at Bitcoin here. 45% since the middle of Feb. Wow. My God. And I mean, it just causes everyone to panic, right? I mean, should we just go through the charts and just have a little look at how everyone's doing? I mean, yeah, look, Chainlink, nice little bounce. That's a nice candle. That's a very nice candle on Chainlink. On the hourly. I mean, everyone's kind of correlated, right? I mean, Quant's not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. Ultra, another project I like. I mean, their charts are just all over the place, to be honest. It's kind of illiquid, so... That's a bad chart, though. So I'm probably going to head off in a minute. And I'll probably come back when the traditionals open. Because I want to get some lunch. I'm pretty hungry. But when the traditionals open, which is in about just over an hour, I'll come back online. If anyone wants to join us, we can watch the markets open and see if the craziness continues, or I don't know, maybe see if we get a bounce, which would be quite nice. So yeah, just basically wanted to just do a little live stream. I was pretty bored, and if people enjoyed it, we'll make it a regular thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So cheers for joining us, guys. Cheers for chilling out. And I'll be back in about an hour and a half. So if you guys want to come back then, cool.